You don't seem surprised that we found your fingerprints all over that note in Lark Madison's backpack.
I don't care if you found my prints. I didn't write that note. There are dozens of notepads lying around the nurse's station. It's not surprising that I may have picked one up.
I had a handwriting expert compare the note to a letter from you we found in your father's things. It was a match.
I didn't do anything.
Hands on the car.
Well, at least tell me what's going on.
You and your drug dealer.
This guy's a dealer? I just pulled over to ask for directions.
Yeah, we got lost going to my girlfriend's house.
There's nothing in the car. Nothing on them either.
Can we go now? I really don't want my kid exposed to this.
Yeah, the two of you can go.
Oh my God. I am so scared I think I'm gonna puke.
Just get in the car. That was my only connection to DL-56. Now where in the hell am I going to get it?
Doc, hi.
Good heavens. You look as if you've aged 10 years since I last saw you.
He's right. What is it? What's wrong?
There's been another murder.
Oh my goodness. Who?
Dr. May.
How did you know that?
Just a lucky guess.
I could use a better answer than lucky guess. You didn't pull Dr. May's name out of a hat. What gave you that answer?
This is a stab in the dark.
Don't give me that! The killer isn't following the pattern that you thought, Victor. Dr. May wasn't the fourth person to come to town in the book, and Jake wasn't the third. Now, how did you know that Dr. May was killed tonight?
It just seemed very clear to me, Monk.
Seemed very clear. Victor, your psychic powers must be much more powerful than mine, because I've been trying to see this clearly. I've been trying to pick up something, a clue or anything, and nothing's coming to me.
I'm not in the mood for the bumbling detective routine, Victor. Now, give me a straight answer.
There's no need to get testy, Monk.
Anything that you know about this can't be explained away with psychic visions and lucky guesses.
Okay, all right, Doc, you know that brilliant minds tend to work in mysterious ways. I'm sure Victor's not even sure of what he's really thinking half the time.
I beg your
Victor,
pardon.
you lied to me when you first told me about the picnic. Are you lying to me now about these murders?
No,
Then
am
where
not.
is it that you always disappear to? And how come you have such a knack for stumbling into crime scenes?
Am I going to be blamed now for having witnessed one of the murders?
Don't you think it's odd that you're the only witness? And you're always coming up with charts and diagrams of suspects and motives and possible victims. What is that about?
Monk, I'm just trying to help you. These murders are eating you alive.
Now he's put in so many hours and so much hard work trying to figure this out. I just hate for you to tell him to stop. Don't tell him to call it quits, Doc.
I'm just trying to clear you of any suspicion. That's what this is all about.
That's what we both want. We don't want to see you take the fall for some lunatic.
Maybe too late for that.
Why do you say that?
Because I was the only one with Dr. May when she died.
You know, Dr. May helped save Serena's life, and when she collapsed, I couldn't do a thing.
Well, I'm sure that you did everything you could. Dr. May was a good doctor. She helped a lot of people. She'd die anyway.
We don't know. Listen, are you worried about Serena being here at GH with all these murders going on?
Yes, I'm worried, but this is the best hospital in the state.
How's she doing?
She's tough like you. Whereas I feel like I'm in the Atlantic Ocean out there waiting for someone to throw me a life vest. I just want to get this eye surgery done. I want to have her eyesight back. The worst thing in the world is just watching your child suffer.
Nurse Goddard to 212 East. Nurse Linda Goddard.
Chris,
212 East.
Dr. May's main goal was to help people. So she probably wanted her organs donated.
Yeah, but we have no idea what organs were compromised by the cause of death.
Well, but even if she was poisoned, her cornea should be fine. There's no blood flow to them, so they should be okay.
Yeah? What do you have in mind?
Serena needs a transplant.
Well, you should be able to get Dr. May's organ donor info off her driver's license. Just contact her family.
Well, that's kind of a hard question to ask.
If anybody's going to understand, it'll be Dr. May's family.
I'll make the call.
Oh, I have to figure out another way to get DL56 now that my dealer was dumb enough to get himself busted.
Go to your brother, Frank. Joe will help you.
I can't ask Joe to get involved with giving me an unapproved medication. It could jeopardize everything that he has worked for.
I mean, go to him to help you get off this stuff.
I don't need to kick something that I am not addicted to. My body needs the drug to survive because of all the damage that happened falling off the building, trying to save your butt. Try to show some gratitude.
Look, I am grateful, Frank. You know, I don't want to see you get hurt. That's why I want you to stop taking this drug.
Oh, this from the kid who stashed pot all over my house?
Oh, look, I haven't done anything like that for a long time. I have learned my lesson. All you can think about is how much you need the DL56. You know, isn't that addiction?
Save the just say no lecture.
Well, aren't you going to have to go to Joe now because you can't get the drug anymore?
You let me worry about that. I'll handle it.
Well, then there must be some mistake. My handwriting couldn't have matched that note. And will you stop trying to intimidate me with every scare tactic you dream up?
You know, Julie, handwriting analysis is really a fascinating science. No matter how much you try to disguise your handwriting, all your little quirks still manage to turn up. What are you, Julie, right-handed? You see, the handwriting expert figures you try to disguise it by writing the note with your left hand. Am I getting close?
I admit I wrote the note. But I only did it after the killer had been identified. I never intended to interfere with the murder investigation. Besides, Lark tried to frame me for the murder of my father because she said she saw me kill him. I felt like I had to do something to get her away from me again.
That's all you've got to say for yourself?
I am not proud of stooping to her level, but someone had to put the fear of God in her.
So you send a death threat to a 17-year-old girl?
Sending the note was a stupid thing to do.
Yes, it was.
But I wanted her out of my life. And I thought maybe this would make her take off again.
And what if she didn't go, Julie, huh? What then? Were you planning to kill her, too?
I haven't killed anyone.
Why should I believe anything you say? You looked at me right in the eye and said you had nothing to do with that letter. What else are you lying to me about, Doctor?
What do you want, Garcia? I'm not up for any more harassment.
Actually, I've got some good news for you, Frank. Well, I guess it will be more like mixed news. Julie, would you like to do the honors?
The police found out who sent you that threatening note.
Well, at least the police are good for something.
Does this mean they caught the killer?
No, it doesn't.
So who was it?
It was me.
You? You are some twisted piece of work. What in the hell is wrong with you?
I knew you hated me, but I never knew how much until now. You want me dead.
I only wrote it after the police said the killer was dead. I wanted to scare you, but I never intended any more.
You sent a teenager a death threat and you thought it was what, a joke?
I'm sorry. I was very angry with you, Lars.
This is beyond anger.
You had this kid believing someone was out to kill her and you think that you can fix it with one I'm sorry? What is wrong with you?
Excuse me, are you Dr. May's husband?
Oh, yes.
I tried to call at home, and they said that you, the nanny said that you were still here.
Have we met?
I'm Eve Lambert. I was one of the interns under your wife's supervision. We're very sorry for your loss.
Thank you. You know, I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to go home and tell our 4-year-old that his mommy's never coming home again.
We're all in shock. I have no idea what you must be feeling.
Cassandra mentioned you to me. She enjoyed working with the interns.
She was an amazing, amazing instructor. She was known for that as much as for her dedication to her patient.
Yeah. Some of us are lucky to find a calling, and pediatrics was hers.
Well, I must say I owe her a personal debt of gratitude for saving the life of a child who is very dear to me. And her name is Serena Baldwin.
Cassandra mentioned that case. How is she doing?
She'll recover, thanks to your wife.
That's good news. Good news.
Mr. May, this is a very difficult question for me to ask. But I wanted to speak with you about a way that your wife could go on helping people.
Are you asking me about organ donation, Dr. Lambert?
Yes. Serena Baldwin needs a corneal transplant.
No. Cassandra used to always be after me about checking that box on the back of a driver's license. I mean, she used to say, you won't need it, so there's no reason to take it with you. I know she would do anything she could to help that little girl.
Thank you. I need your consent.
No. Thank you. Thank you for helping and asking me, Dr. Lambert. Thank you. You know, I don't know if it's possible, but just maybe one day, my son will have a chance to look into Serena's eyes, see something that's very special. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Scott? Scott.
What?
I got a donor for Serena.
From who?
Dr. May's husband agreed to the corneal donation.
Well, how's that possible? I mean, she was an adult, and from what I'm hearing, she was poisoned. How can she still be a donor?
Corneal transplants don't need the exact specifications that other organs require. The main factor is the endothelial cell count. The minimum needs to be 3,000, and we are confident that Dr. May has at least that. Now, as far as the possibility she may have been poisoned, corneas are one of the few parts of the body that don't have a direct attachment to a blood flow. Her corneas are fine, Scott.
Yeah, this is great news.
Let's hope.
Can we schedule it, the surgery now?
The sooner the better.
Who gives us the green light?
Serena's surgeon.
I'm calling him right now.
I know the horror of these murders is really getting to you, trying to swallow you up. But you can't let it.
Tea. Wonderful tea to soothe the troubled soul. Not a long-term solution, but it should do for now.
Thank you, Victor. And I'm sorry I threw all those accusations at you earlier.
Logic demands that you consider every possibility. Shall I be mother?
Victor, listen, I know that you think you're helping by accusing me or Doc or yourself because we had opportunity, but that's not really helping us figure out who really did this.
Lucy, you're completely wrong. Will you take milk or lemon?
Milk.
It's true that Monk's problem is really more of one of proximity. He's too close to these killings because he wrote the book, One Lump or Two.
Two?
You think you can be more objective?
Well, it's true that you are my son, and I do hate to see you in pain, but yes, I have managed to step back, and I think that I have drawn some astonishing conclusions.
More astonishing than the deaths of 4 people at the hands of someone I made up out of thin air?
Well, you believe that. I don't believe that. Will you take milk or lemon?
Milk. But Victor, the murderer in General Homicide isn't modeled after anyone.
I have to tell you this, Monk. You are completely wrong.
You figured out who the killer was modeled on?
Precisely. 1 month or 2?
Victor, I didn't model the killer on anyone. The character is fictitious.
Ah, but what if fiction comes to life? Those 4 killings are quite real, aren't they? Monk, take heart. You'd be a terrible murderer. You leave clues all over the place. They're scattered throughout general homicide like wildflowers.
But, Victor, just because clues exist in a book doesn't mean they exist in real life.
Lucy, did someone teach you to process information so illogically?
I've gotten very far with my logical little mind, and never mind. Just go ahead. I want to be enlightened, Professor.
All right. First clue, our murderer has above average intelligence.
Now that narrows it down. Come up with anything else?
Yes. None of the murders are ever hurried. He's not an impulsive person. He does everything quite methodically.
But serial killers have to be detail-oriented. If they were sloppy, the police would catch them before they had the chance to even move into serial crimes.
And our man, George Gulling, has a decent knowledge of chemistry. Does anyone want to ask me the kicker?
This isn't a parlor game, Victor. Just spit it out.
Humor me. And let's not forget that the killer in the novel hid in plain sight, so we can bet that our killer has been nose to nose with Detective Garcia on more than one occasion. He's 5 feet 11 inches tall. He's Caucasian. Does any of this ring a bell?
No!
Final clue. The killer in the novel was a coffin maker.
Oh, we don't know any coffin makers. I've never even met one.
You've known one your whole life. When you were a baby and I was finishing my dissertation, I worked part-time for a funeral parlor building handcrafted coffins. You modeled the killer on me.
What else do you want from me, Frank? Blood? I said I was sorry.
What is going on here?
Julie sent that note to Lark.
Julie, why would you do something like that?
I was upset. Believe me, I wish I never had. It was a stupid, childish mistake.
Well, well, well. I hear you've been a very busy boy this evening, Frank.
What's that supposed to mean?
Frank drove away from a drug bust tonight.
I told the officer on the scene I had nothing to do with that mess. That's why they let us go, right, Lark?
Yeah, we got lost trying to find directions.
I got a dealer in custody that says otherwise.
He's a dealer, Garcia. They lie.
This is ridiculous because Frank doesn't do drugs.
Lark wanted to pick something up from a friend's house. I didn't know the way, so I stopped and I asked some guy for directions.
You're a paramedic, Frank. You know the city like the back of your hand.
You know, look, it was my fault. I got turned around trying to find it.
You know what? A drug dealer is just going to say anything to save his own skin.
This guy was a chemist working for a major pharmaceutical company. He was making something special for you, wasn't he, Frank? The drug's at the lab right now.
The guy is a liar. I never saw him before tonight.
What are you going to believe? I mean, some drug dealer or Frank?
The chemist is singing like a bird downtown.
Frank, tell the truth.
Shut up.
Frank, what is going on here?
I've been taking some medication.
What are you on?
I'm not on anything. I'm no addict.
I didn't say you were an addict.
Frank, what is the medication?
It's just something I've been taking for problems I've had since my fall.
Is it a prescription drug?
Let's take this outside.
No! You're not
Get
doing
your
anything.
hands off me!
You may as well tell them what the hell it
was
is because you're going to
nothing!
find out anyway.
It was nothing.
Lie to me, Frank.
I never would have survived the fall without the drug that Karen and Jake created.
Frank, you've been taking DL-56?
Why am I so sleepy?
Well, because they gave you a sedative. A sleeping pill. So you'll sleep right through the whole operation, and when you wake up, you'll be all patched up.
Will I be able to see?
That's what we're all planning on. And I'll be waiting here for you when you get out, okay?
Is Eve here?
I'm here, sweetie.
You wait too.
Mr. Baldwin, we need to take her in now.
See you soon.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, bud.
Sunday, he brought you Misery, The Shining, and Stand By Me. Now, Stephen King's most popular miniseries of all time is an ABC special summer event. The End of the World is Just the Beginning. Starring Gary Sinise, Marley Wingwald, and Rob Lowe, it's The Stand, ABC Sunday. You're just one click away from finding out what's coming up Monday on Port Charles. Visit abc.com for your sneak peek.